Into match number 4 we go now, over in the Conference League with Samsunspor leaving the charge over in at the top of the table. That's right, but of course who will be joining them in the top 8 spots? We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're going to take a look at match number 4, that's right, over in the UEFA Conference League, as of course that action is back in all its glory. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in a second. If you're new, way up in, smash your subscribe. You want to subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Europa Conference League, whoa, football, we're going to all here under one roof. The big boys are up there in the top 8 currently over in the Conference League, but what about the chasing pack? Can they break up that dynasty right now and of course get themselves in that automatic spot to get through to those knockout stages? We'll get into all of it in a second. Big shout out to members and the patrons, you know who you are, but let's return to this. That's right, it is the Conference League and I'm looking forward to it coming back. Hopefully you guys are too. We're going to do things a little differently this time around. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this, guys. We're just going to run through those scores from last time. My predictions were there. They exist, but I just don't bring them on the screen right now. Hoping to have them available for you for next time. Of course, we've lost a bit of stuff here, but we're coming at you with a new sort of approach. What do I mean? Well, I'll talk all about that in a minute. Let's, of course, run back the scoreline from the past time out in the Conference League. Kicking it all off with Mainz's victory over Fiorentina. They did a number, as did Shakhtar Donetsk, coming out top of the 2-0 win over Breidablik. Meanwhile, Cups coming at you out of Finland. I think 3-1 wins over Bratislava. Celje also coming out top at home against Legia. Also, it was all square between Prague and Rayo. Meanwhile, same sort of scoreline there. Larnaca against Aberdeen. Olomouc picking up a 2-1 away win against Noah. That's right. Meanwhile, Samsunspor table toppers 3-0 winners over Hamrun Spartans. We all kind of saw that one coming. AEK Athens with a score draw against Shamrock Rovers. Crystal Palace did beat AZ Alkmaar. One of the games of the round right there. Rapid Vienna with a 1-0 loss to Craiova. Meanwhile, Dynamo Kyiv put 6 past Zrinjski Mostar. Rayo Vallecano with a 5-goal thriller against Poznan, picking up a 3-2 win. Lausanne-Sport with a 1-1 scoreline against Omonia Nicosia. Hacken out of Sweden, losing at home to Strasbourg. Shelbourne 79 with a 1-1 draw against Jagiellonia. Meanwhile, Red Imps with a 1-1 scoreline against HNK Rijeka, and Shelbourne losing at home to Drita. Those were the scorelines last time around. This, of course, is the situation in the table. Currently in a bit of trouble there. We've got the likes of Aberdeen, Slovan, Bratislava, AEK Hacken, AZ Alkmaar. All these clubs are at the moment not going to continue their European journey. It'll be all over if it was to end today. But fortunately, a couple of games left. Meanwhile, into that middle of the road there, of course, we've got the likes of Lincoln Red Imps. Could they make it through to the knockout stages? It would be absolutely phenomenal for the clubs in Gibraltar to see such a feat. Meanwhile, the likes of Jagiellonia and Rakow Craiova coming out of Poland. They're in that middle of the pack there, as are Crystal Palace and Shakhtar Donetsk. But they are within striking distance of getting into the top 8, which currently has these guys in the driving seat. It's Samsunspor number 1 with Celje number 2. Mainz coming out of Germany in 3 with Larnaca, Lausanne-Sport, Vallecano, Strasbourg and Fiorentina edging into the 8th spot on goal difference. That's right. So that's the situation we have ourselves there. We are now going to look forward to the next round of games, and these are those. Now, typically, I'd run through a whole bunch of data and, of course, bore you to tears. But we're going to do it a little bit differently. I might chuck some data at you, but realistically, I'm just going to go with my gut instinct, starting with a trip to the Dutchlands. That's AZ Alkmaar taking on Shelbourne coming at you in Alkmaar. That's why Martin Martins is the coach there for Alkmaar, but they are on back-to-back defeats coming into the struggling right now, not looking good in the form book. Taking a Shelbourne side, managed by Joseph O'Brien. They're down at 30 with just 1 point, of course. Last time around for Shelbourne, they actually lost to Drita, and of course AZ Alkmaar losing to Crystal Palace. At home, they've been pretty solid. In this competition, they picked up a 1-0 win over Slovan Bratislava. As for Shelbourne, just the 1 point. It's going to be a home win here. It's just by how much. I'm going with a 2-0 win. AZ Alkmaar taking it to the cleaners. Slovan Bratislava, they're taking on Vallecano, coming at you over at Bratislava. Vladimir Weiss is the coach there. Not to get a point so far. They rock down the bottom there, 34th at the table. Just won a defeat, though, in the last 6. Vallecano doing well in 6th. They just won defeat in the last 6 themselves. The last match was that 3-2 win over Poznan. Prior to that, they picked up a 2-2 draw away from home in this competition. So Vallecano looking good right now. As for Slovan Bratislava, no points so far, but they have, I don't think they had the most difficult of run-ins either. But the bookies will back Vallecano. I think I'm going to have to back him as well. to at least get something. I've gone with a 2-1 win Vallecano, which of course I think goes with the agenda here, as Vallecano are one of the teams to worry about. Meanwhile, Rayo, Craiova, they're going to be taking on Rapid Vienna. That's right, coming at you on the 27th of the 11th. All of these games take place on the same day. Never played each other, these two sides. Craiova in 12th right now, 5 points for them on the back of a defeat. That's right, that was, of course, today, the 22nd of November. Last time around, a 0-0 scoring against Sparta Prague. Meanwhile, the opposition, Rapid Vienna, coming out of Austria, just one defeat in the last 5 for them. They sit in 36. That is rock bottom. Coming into us on the back of that defeat against the University Craiova, of course, from Romania. So not the best bit of form for these guys. In fact, they haven't scored in any of the last 2, at least, games in this competition. The bookies will back. They're going to back Craiova here for the W. So tight one. It could be even Stevens. I'm going to go with a win for the host here. Craiova from coming out of Poland, and of course could project them into that top 6, depending on top 8 even, depending on what goes on elsewhere. Meanwhile, Omonia Nicosia taking on Dynamo Kyiv. That's coming out of Cyprus. Henningberg, ex-Rover there, ex-Rover's coach as well, sitting in 29th spot right now with 2 points. They are unbeaten in at least the last 6 matches, and they come into this on the back of that away score against Lausanne-Sport. Starting the way today is Dynamo Kyiv, managed by Alexander Shotkovsky. They've lost 3 of the last 4 matches, including the last match in the Ukrainian League. Of course, that was back on the 22nd of November. Meanwhile, last time around in this competition, 6-0 win of a Zrinjski Mostar puts Dynamo Kyiv in a good position. I mean, Nicosia will prove to be a stubborn opposition. I think I'm going to go on the fence here with a 1-1 scoreline. Over in Cyprus, let's go to Poznan now. Lech Poznan taking on Lausanne-Sport, coming over in Poland. Niels Fredriksson is the coach. They're just 1 win in the last 6. They do sit 23rd currently in the table with 3 points. Standing in the way is Lausanne-Sport, managed by Peter Zeidler. They sit 5th right now, just 1 defeat in the last 6, but back-to-back draws, including a draw against Omonia Nicosia last time around. Lech Poznan with that narrow loss against Vallecano. The bookies, though, for this, they're going to go and back Lech Poznan for the victory, who are in 23rd. So this could be a bit of an upset in the form book. I've gone with the 2-0 win as well, matching that of the bookies heading into this one. Meanwhile, University Craiova taking on Mainz. That's right, coming over in Romania. Filipe Coleo is the coach there, unbeaten. I just want to defeat the last 6 for the Romanians. They sit 20th right now with 4 points up against Mainz and Bo Henriksen. Just 1 win in the last 6 for the Germans, and they are flying high though in 3rd, of course. They did play against Hoffenheim most recently in the Bundesliga, drawing there, but they also picked up a 2-1 win over Fiorentina. Monstrous result that is for the grand scheme of things for the Germans. The Germans are favoured for the victory here. I think I'm going to go with them as well. 2-1 winners. It might be sucking in the league, but Mainz in this competition are definitely one to fear. Meanwhile, Olomouc taking on Celje. That's right. Olomouc coming out of Czechia. Of course, managed by Chechen, Thomas Jekonic. They sit 19th right now with 4 points. Unbeaten in at least the last 8 matches, including a 2-1 win over Noah Yerevin in this competition last time around. Meanwhile, their opposition, Celje, unbeaten in the last 5. Also coming into on the back of a win against Legia Warsaw. This was a tight one. Bookies see it just the same way. Evans, kind of Stevens there, edging towards Olomouc here. I've gone with a 1-0 win as well for the hosts. That's right. Meanwhile, Zrinjski Mostar, they're taking on Hakan Gothenburg, coming at you over in Mostar. That's right, over in Croatia. Igor Stimac is the coach right there. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. They do sit 26 though, with just 3 points to the name. As for Hakan Gothenburg, Jens and Gustafsson is the coach. They're 28th in the table, just the 2 points, but they are winless in at least the last 6 matches. They did pick up a 2-1 loss against Strasbourg most recently. Zrinjski Mostar on the back of that 6-0 loss to, of course, Dynamo Kyiv. Of course, both sides looking to bounce back and fast. The bookies, again, finding this one tight to call, edging slightly in favour of Zrinjski Mostar. I've gone with a 2-0 win for PK Hackenberg for me. Not too sure where I picked that one out, but we'll see who's right or who's wrong. Let's go to Malta then, shall we? Hamrun Spartans. They're taking on Red Imps. What a game this is. And, of course, what a massive factor it's going to have potentially for the Gibraltars here. Spartans managed by Giancamo Modica. They sit 35th with no points. Just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against the Red Imps and the Juan Bezaninas, they sit 22nd with 4 points. And of course, this is definitely a winnable game. That's right. They actually played against each other a couple of times last campaign. With the Red Imps coming out on top, looks like after penalties. Meanwhile, of course, the Red Imps are on the back of a 1-1 score against Rijeka last time around. Of course, Spartans losing to Samsunspor. The bookies will back Spartans for this one. This one could be a tight one here. I've gone with the Spartans, but looking at the form there, I think Red Imps may raise their game just to upset the apple for me on this one. Let's get into the next one then, shall we? And it is Fiorentina up against AEK Athens. Paolo Vanoni is the coach there. They are winners in the last 6 matches. And they're looking good, though, in the table in 8th right now with 6 points. In Serie A, though, they are struggling. Up against the AEK Athens side managed by Marko Nikolic. They sit 15th right now, just 4 points for them, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Athens are on the back of that score draw against Shamrock Rovers. Fiorentina were on the back of that 2-1 loss to Mainz. The bookies, though, will back Fiorentina despite the form in the domestic league. I've gone with a 2-0 win as well for Fiorentina, who put their domestic troubles aside in favour of European glory. Let's go to Shamrock Rovers then, as they take on Shakhtar Donetsk coming at you over in Ireland. Stephen Bradley's boys are in 31st place with just the 1 point. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 for them. 1 defeat in the last 4, up against Shakhtar Donetsk and Arda Turan. They sit in 10th right now, 6 points for them. 4 wins on the bounce in all competitions. They did play against Breidablik last time around, Shakhtar, with a 2-0 win comfortably. That was at home. Meanwhile, Shamrock Rovers are on the back of that score draw away to Athens. You're going to back Shamrock Rovers to get this one. Gone with a 2-0 win for them on the road. Of course, Shamrock Rovers have been a bit of an upset. Bit of a letdown, should I say, in this competition. For me. Meanwhile, Legia Warsaw taking on Sparta Prague in an Eastern European affair here. Legia Warsaw managed by AEK Athens. They sit 25th right now, which is the 3 points. They're winless in the last 6. Sparta Prague under Brian Prisky. They sit 16th right now, 4 points for them, just 1 defeat in the last 5. Of course, Sparta Prague on the back of that 0-0 scoreline against another Polish opposition, Craiova. That was, of course, back on the 6th of November. Meanwhile, Legia Warsaw losing to Celje last time around. The bookies find this one very, very tight. They are leaning towards Legia Warsaw, as am I. Going with the 2-1 win for me this coming match day in the Conference League. Let's go to Strasbourg, who are flying high. They're taking on Crystal Palace in the game, not only in the round, but really one of the games of this competition this season. Strasbourg managed by Liam Rossignol. Sit 7th right now with 7 points. They've won 3, lost 3 over the last 6. Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner, they're unbeaten in at least the last 5 in all competitions. Coming into this, Palace are on the back of that 3-1 important win over AZ Alkmaar. Strasbourg on the back of that 2-1 away win against Hacken Gothenburg. This one does smell like it's going to be a tough old game. Palace are favoured for the victory, but Strasbourg ain't no slouches, of course, coming out of Ligue 1. I'm going to go with a 1-1 scoreline. Points right down the middle. Split. Even bloody Steve. And let's go to Jagiellonia Bratislava then, as taking on Cups coming out of Finland. Adrian Simonic is the coach there for Jagiellonia Bratislava. They sit 14th right now. Just the 5 points. Just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Cups. Jakob Wies is the coach there. They're 11th right now. 5 points for them. And they actually got a good bit of momentum going do the Finnish side here. They're on the back of that 3-1 win over Slovan Bratislava. As for Jagiellonia Bratislava picking up a what did they pick up? They picked up a draw against Cicada Tetovo last time around. The bookies, though, will back the hosts here. Cups have been good. Can they get anything out of this? I don't think so. I'm going with a 2-0 win. Jagiellonia Bratislava taking the points. Meanwhile, HNK Rijeka taking on AEK Larnaca coming at you this coming match day. That's right. The hosts coming managed by Victor Sanchez, just 1 win in the last 4. Up against the Larnaca side under Emmanuel Igdesiz, who sit 4th right now. And they're unbeaten at least the last 6. In fact, unbeaten the last 8. They've won 4 of the last 5, including they picked up a draw last round against Aberdeen. Meanwhile, their hosts Rijeka on the back of an upsetting 1-1 scoreline away to Red Imps. So a couple underwhelming performances from both of these two sides, but Larnaca are on a uptick of form of late. Rijeka still fancied by the bookies. I've gone with a draw. It just doesn't feel right either side right now. Despite I think Larnaca are too good to lose, I don't think Rijeka are too good enough to win, though. That's what I'm saying here. Kicking on to the final 3, then we got Aberdeen. That's right, taking on Noé Ravine. That's coming at Potodry. Jimmy Tillin is the coach there. They are 33rd right now, just the 1 point. They are winners in the last 3. Actually, they're unbeaten in the last 3. Up against Noé Ravine, managed by Sandro Pukovic. They're winners also in the last 3 matches. They're coming in just on the back of that 2-1 loss to Omonia in the last round of this competition. Aberdeen only drawing against Larnaca. It's been back-to-back draws in all competitions for Aberdeen heading into this. The bookies will back Aberdeen. I do think Aberdeen should win this game. I've gone just a narrow 1-0 win, though, but enough to get them moving finally before it's too late. Meanwhile, Drita, they're going to be taking on Cicada Tetovo. That's right. Let's come at you this match day. There it is. Of course, Drita managed by Ramadan Cicadic. They are 13th right now. 5 points for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Cicada Tetovo, managed by Tetelo Bakini. They're unbeaten in the last 5. 2 North Macedonian coaches in the dugouts for for these two sides. Coming into this, Sheteta Chetovo with the draw against Jagiellonia Bratislava. Most recently, Drita on the back of that on back-to-back away wins, back-to-back clean sheets. In fact, 3 clean sheets on the spin for Drita as they try to seal the deal here. They are, of course, slight favourite here in a tight old game. Could go down the middle, but I've gone with an away win for upset. At the moment, so Sheteta Chetovo with the W. And then finally, it's Breidablik against your leaders. It is Samsunspor coming to over in Iceland. Breidablik managed by Olafur Gulson, just 1 win the last 4 for them. Up against Samsunspor managed by the German Thomas Reis. They're unbeaten in at least the last 6 matches, picking up 5 wins in that last 6, including a 3-0 win over Spartans. Actually been back-to-back clean sheets for Samsunspor heading into this. Breidablik, still on the flip side, could only muster a draw against Cups last time around. The bookies will back. They will back Samsunspor, your table toppers here, and I've gone with a draw for me, as I think Breidablik will prove to be stubborn opposition and take points off your leaders. And if I'm right, guys, which of course, who knows, I might be, this is what the new table will look like. It will be situations, trouble down the foot of the table with Aberdeen and Nicosia, the likes of Breidablik and Slovan struggling right now, as after 4 matches. And then we move forward into the middle of the pack when, of course, we see the likes of AEK Athens down there, AZ Alkmaar, of course, got a bit of work to do into the top end of that table. Crystal Palace still yet to get into that top 8. Strasbourg dropping down into that 10th place. And then we, of course, have a bit of a shake-up in that top 8, which, of course, we'll see Mainz top the table, Samsunspor down at 2nd spot, the likes of Celje moving up there, Jagiellonia Bratislava as well. So that's my situation, of course, over in this competition. Make sure you drop a like and smash the subscribe as well, guys and girls. We've got non-stop coverage of this all the way through to the final in May next year. But until then, we see you soon, whenever that is. We're done.